Hola chamos y chamas, welcome back to another episode of Álvaro Dev Labs. Greetings from sunny Barcelona. Yeah, no, just kidding. It's not sunny at the moment, it's like 8 at night and I just wanted to put my glasses on. Today we are gonna build together a Chrome extension using Vite and Vue. Yes, as you heard it, it's gonna be legendary. Let's start by creating a new project using yarn create Vite. This is basically going to install a fresh Vite application. It's going to ask you for a name, so awesome extension. Let's put it in lowercase. We're going to select Vue, the moment without TypeScript. So this should create it anyway. Let's open in code. So it's awesome extension. No, I don't trust myself. Let's put this a little bit bigger. Okay, here we go. So let's open the terminal here because we need to install the dependencies. Basically, we're going to use Vite and Vue to create a Chrome extension. This is pretty cool. I learned it like last week. I never have done a Chrome extension before. I didn't know how it's composed, how you do the pop-up, and so on, so I needed to learn it, but it's pretty easy to be honest. So before continue, I eliminate the hello world component that is here, and for the structure of Chrome extension, you need to create a folder that is called content scripts. In that folder, you're going to move the main one, the app.vue, you don't need it actually. Here the main JS. And we are going to create something called Popup.vue. We're gonna leave it empty by now. Some warnings, but yeah. At source level, we need to create also a manifest.json. This is the file I was referring for, and this is the one that the Chrome extension used for all the metadata of the application, like icons and those kind of things. Also, we need a service worker, so we're going to create a background.js. So we need to fill this manifest.json with the proper stuff. So the name, let's call it the awesome extension. The version of the manifest is version 3. We're going to use the new version of it. Also, we need to set up the version of the plugin itself, of the extension. So I'm going to use some version and just put it 1.0.0. Then, yeah, probably this needs to be a string auto. So we need to define several things here. One of them is the icons, so something like this. We don't have any yet and we need to create them, but it's like normally it's a 16 one and we need to put them in assets. So here we need to create some versions of the logo or extension in different sizes, like 16, then it's going to be 24, I think, and then 48. No, 24 is not, it's 48 and 128. So for the icons, I quickly create 3 frames, 128, 48 and 16 in Figma, and I just exporting them in the asset folder here. So it should be right here. So we can complete this and say, okay, assets, icon 16 PNG, and just copy this one. By the way, I don't know why my autopilot is not working. Let me check real quick. Okay, for some reason I had not installed it here in this computer. This is an excellent tool. I've been using it for a while. It's really amazing. The AI is really intelligent and help you leverage a lot of work, especially in TypeScript, which I'm really bad at. It has helped me a lot to improve. So maybe I will do a video regarding Copilot. Let me know in the comments if you would like to have one. Let's continue with it, and let me get my... In Venezuela we call it chuleta when you have like a paper just aside with the notes that you need to comment on the video, for example, or in a test in the university you had a little thing with the formulas kind of thing. I never use it. So I'm going to just put here the background. Okay, so here we're saying that we're going to have a file that works as a service worker. Later on I will explain why. So this one is the background.js that we created, and also something called content scripts. Okay, and in content script is going to be an array. And you can see now that actually Copilot is giving me some like hints of things that I should put. And actually this is exactly what I need to put here. So it already knows that I'm creating Chrome extension, and this are the files that I need. For this one, it's not content though, is content scripts. And we're going to use the main.js as a main file for the Vue application. What else? I don't know we need anything else. In another project I do have this, so maybe it's needed. I really don't know, but I'm going to put like awesome extension here, and then we have the manifest build up. So before we continue, I think it's really important to explain how a Chrome extension works, or at least the one we are going to build today. So a basic Chrome extension contains a manifest that is holding all the metadata for our application. Then we have a pop-up that is just HTML. The pop-up is actually this. Whenever you click the icon of the extension, you get like this nice pop-up with whatever the extension does inside. This is what we are going to build in Vue, actually, with Vite. And then you have a background or a service worker. So this script, what it's going to do is basically communicate between the pop-up and the Chrome API. If you need to get anything from the browser API, it's going to be here in the background. We need to set up a way for those to communicate, to send data from one place to another. Here I have the example of the one that I built last week, and this is what we need to achieve. We need a dist with the assets, mainly the icons. We need in the dist a main.js with the CSS, for example. We need the background.js, and we need a manifest.json. This is going to be the package that we're going to get into Chrome to have the extension. So in order to do that, here in our application, we need to install several things. Like right now we only have Vite plugin Vue, the compiler, and Vite Vue. That's about it. For the styling, I'm going to use Tailwind, so we need to install it also. I'm basically going to copy and paste the extensions that we need here. You can install them manually, or you can just copy and paste it in the beginning and just use Yarn to install it from scratch. After copy and pasting all the dependencies that I use, I'm going to explain just for the surface. I'm going to use my printer configuration that I built for myself. So Iconify for icons. Also we have auto prefix repos CSS and Tailwind in order to work, and I'm going to use some plugins for Vite plugin components that allows you to auto import them, and Vite plugin icons that allows you to use Iconify and create like view icons, easy to SVGs. Okay, so we need to install another one. So I'm going to use yarn add, and it's called Vite plugin Chrome extension. If we search for it on the browser here, is this one by Stark Shang. I don't know if I say it correctly, but this is this one. So it's basically like a fork from the Rollup plugin Chrome extension to be able to use in Vite. And we only need to import it, and then in the define config put it as a plugin. So let's go to here, and we are going to copy and use it here. So yeah, I guess we need to use it like this. Okay, I'm going to also copy and paste some of the configuration of the Vite config. Just basic stuff that I use the most, like aliases, for example, that they go to source. Also for the build, we will need the following configuration. This is for the rollup option. So the input is going to be the source manifest.json. Okay. And in the plugins, just before the Chrome extension one, we are going to copy and paste these ones. So one is the Vite components. Basically, it's going to take all the Vue extensions, and also they have a custom component resolver for the icons. Okay, this is just to use the icons itself. So I'm going to copy here, and that should be basically it. Okay. Then we will need to install or start Tailwind. So npx tailwind css init.p. This is going to create a post CSS config and a Tailwind config. It's important here in the Tailwind config that we actually put to purge every view here, because we want the Chrome extension to be as lighter as possible in the bundles, so it's important that we purge all the classes here. Also, probably we will need a folder here inside source. It's going to be style and just a main CSS kind of thing here. I never remember how is this one. So it's Tailwind base, Tailwind components, and Tailwind utilities. Probably here inside content scripts in the main, we don't need this one. I'm going to copy and paste what we actually need because I'm too lazy today. I'm going to explain. So this is going to be awesome extension here, like the ID of the application, and we are going to not use an app.vue to mount. We are going to mount it as this. Let me just take out the TypeScript stuff, because this one is not with TypeScript. Okay. To explain a little bit, so it's going to take the pop-up, which is this file, and it's going to append it to the document body, just with a div. And then, okay, this is important. This is like communicating with the Chrome runtime, and whenever it gets a message from the extension, when you click it, if the toggle is visible, we need to create this logic also in the service worker. But essentially what it's going to do is that whenever you click it, it's going to make the pop-up visible or not. I'm going to elaborate a little bit better afterwards. So let's save all of this. It should be fine. And we're going to start creating the view components. So I have a view snippet with a structure. I'm going to import the find component. which I think is more used in TypeScript when you use TypeScript review, but because I'm really used to use it, I'm just going to put it here. Okay, so here we need to put a semicolon. What else in the template? We're building now basically a pop-up or an overlay. So let's create the first div with the overlay. Okay, and inside of it, we are going to put the pop-up itself. Let's put something on H1 that says legend. Wait for it. Dairy. And so we need a variable here to tell to the overlay if it's visible or not, depending on the action of the service worker. So we are going to, instead of the define component, use the setup here, and we are going to create a constant visible equal a ref, and say it's going to be false at the beginning. We will need to return it, of course, to the template like this. Should be fine. And okay, this one needs to be the same as we put in the main.js, so I'm going to put main.js just aside. And you see here that we are going to access the instance of the pop-up and just toggle the visible depending on the message that we get from the service worker. So that should be fine. With this, we should put have an overlay. Let's put some styles on it. So I'm using Tailwind. You can directly put the classes here, but I'm getting used to do it here actually. So I'm going to use overlay and say that I want to apply. And you see that I'll actually the GitHub Copilot already told me okay, it's an overlay, put it and fix it. So we're going to use fix it. It still doesn't work with Tailwind. I don't know why it's not telling me things about Tailwind yet, but I guess this is going to learn it. So inset 0 maybe, height full. And we want to put it like a background, which is black, okay, and a background opacity of 10 maybe. Let's see if with that we're covering. Then we need some styles for our pop-up. So apply a background that is white for now. I'm going to put a shadow on it. P4 for padding, so P4 is actually 1M. Rounded, and I don't know if you put it a width though. Yeah, let's try with some number. How will be 72? Okay, that should be it. Next thing to do is actually coding in the background logic to make the pop-up visible. So here is where we're going to access Chrome directly. And we are going to add an event listener here to the action, click it, or how is it called? On click. Okay, and it's already telling me this completion. So here we are going to receive a parameter. I'm going to use an arrow function here. Okay, that returns the current tab that you are working on. So if that tab has an ID, we're going to send a message. So Chrome tabs. It's execute now. It's send message with the tab ID, and we want to pass in that message to go visible Okay, and we're going to say, well, actually, yeah, toggle visible true. Okay. So with this, we are going to listen whenever we click the icon on the browser where the extensions are. And whenever you click it, you're going to send a message to the main yes to put that pop-up visible. Before continuing and actually building and testing in Chrome to see if we see something, we need to give permissions to the actual extension to use the tabs. So here, just below, Copilot again. Okay, almost. So you need to give a permission of tabs, okay? I think that will be it. Let's try to build it. Regarding that also, there is two ways to do it. You can also put here in the package JSON instead of dev, which will be a normal Vite application. In this case, is not something that we are going to serve here. So I'm going to copy and paste the one from the other break, and it's actually building in a mode of development in case you want to check something in the script, so something like that, that is not minimized. So let's use dev, yarn dev. It's complaining about something, cannot find module Vite Chrome extension. Did I install it? I don't remember. Let's install it again and that's it. I don't remember if I installed it though. I think I didn't. Okay, so now it should be here. Yarn dev. Okay, we have another error. Resolve is not defined. Resolve is not defined. And this is in the Vite config. Okay. Let me check. Huh. Yeah, I forgot to import this. So we're using resolve from the path actually. This is path resolve. This is my bad. I'm sorry. Continue with live. Come on. Oh, maybe I didn't call it. Yeah, this is a problem of copy pasting, fellas. Like, you shouldn't rely on it. You should do things from scratch. So in this case, I call it main.js instead of index.js. Okay, this is getting painful because it's a styles. Oh, come on. Okay, I think seems like right now it is working though. Let's just wait until I finish. Yeah, blah blah blah. 10 modules. It's funny how it is slowed down. Oh my god, this is a bunch of CSS though. What's wrong? I can push it in the tailwind CSS to remove this. Well, I will check it out later. Maybe it's because it's the dev one. What happens if I do the normal build? Probably this is going to be less. Well, okay. So how we test this? We need to go to Chrome and go to Chrome extensions here. And I have the developer mode on So to be able to use your local extension and not having to upload it to Chrome in order to install it, you need to set to put on the developer mode. And here you have the option of load unpacked. Okay, what we are going to load is actually the this folder of this application. So we're going to go here, and I have it under GitHub. Awesome extension. And if everything went well, we will have this structure that I mentioned before, like the background JS. I don't know what the fabricant is here, but manifest JSON content scripts with the pop-up and the main. So that should be it. And bam, here we have our extension with our logo. Just before continue, I just realized we had two errors on our pop-up. One is that ref is not defined and that we actually not tooling the pop-up. So here is, we're going to use vshow and link it with visible, and then we are going to build it again. So this is fine. I mean, this will help me to teach you how to continue working on it. So as soon as you build it, here, you just need to put here update, and it will take again this folder and load it again here. So you don't need to load unpack all over again. You can just click here. So now it should work. Let's go, for example, to Vite, home. And if we click, there we have our pop-up. Really bad positioning, but we have our pop-up. So, okay. Terminal goes in the way. Here. Awesome extension. Perfect. So we need to cover pair of things. For example, put it on a correct set index, and maybe the pop-up, we need to put it in a better position. So we're going to use absolute, and I'm just guessing like a top 4 and a right 4, for example. And also I didn't like how big legendary, wait for it is. It's okay. It's just for demo purposes. So let's build it again. So we go to extension, and we need to refresh the tab that we were in. Okay, and then let's click it again, and now it's in a better position. So this allows us to create that pop-up that comes away. Let's add some more cool stuff, like actually getting information, for example, from the tab we are in, like what is the URL, some information about the tab, how we are going to do that. So now let's do something useful with it, and let's access, for example, the current tab data and show it in the pop-up. In order to do that, we need to set between the pop-up and the background service some kind of messages. Just like the message that we send whenever we got the action click and we send it into the pop-up to be visible, we will need to do something similar but the other way around. So the logic will be the following. We are in the pop-up, and whenever it's mount, we are going to send to the background a message saying, hey, the pop-up it has been initialized, please get the current tab data and send it back to me to present it in the HTML or in the pop-up. So let's do that. We need then the pop-up here. Let's go here, and let's import on mount first, do not forget. And on mount, we're going to use Chrome runtime send message. And here in the send message, you also have a response to it. So in the response, we are going to return the tab information. So it will be good if here we have like something like current tab as a ref of, well, reactive maybe. Okay, and we set current tab equals tab. Okay, which is going to be the message. So here we need to put like, what's the type of message? So the type of message is pop-up init, for example. And now we go to the background JS. I'm going to put the background JS just here. And we need to listen to that. So the way of listening is, let me get my chuleta background. So it's actually the same. It's Chrome runtime on message as event listener. Okay, we have the structure here. Thank you, Copilot. You're very helpful. So we need to, I mean, you don't need to use a switch in this case, but this is like the recommended structure for this, because then you can have several cases, and depending on the type of the message, you don't need to create several, like adding several event listeners. You only need to put one. So in this case, we are going to check the message, which is the first one, the request. So the request type. And in case it says pop-up init, we need to do an asynchronous operation here. Get current tab, okay? And then response, then response, and just below that, return true to say, hey, we're returning an asynchronous operation here. We don't have yet get current tab, so this is going to be a new function that I also have mentioned it here. Wait, so it's an asynchronous function called get current tab. Okay. So the interface to get the tab information is Chrome tabs query, at least in the manifest tree. Before it was different. So we need to pass the query options, which is normally these ones, and you're gonna get like here. Okay, so we're going, this is an asynchronous operation. We are just going to get the first tab of the current tab, like this. Okay, and we can do several things with the tab, but for now let's just return it. So basically, whenever we are mounted, we're going to pass, or we're gonna send this message with type popup init. We're going to listen it here in the background in the service worker, and we're going to return it. So in the return, I don't know if actually I have to put something else. No, because this is a promise, right? And whenever it resolves, we are going to pass the response here. So this is actually send response here. Okay, this should work. Let's remove this break because we are actually using return true here. Okay, what we are going to do with that info. So for now, let's use pre here to present the data in the front end and see actually how is the structure. Okay, so current tab, and we also need to pass it to the template here. That's fine. Also, for debugging purposes, I'm going to here just below, I'm going to console log the tab itself. You're gonna see why in a second. Okay, so let's build it again. It takes more whenever I'm recording the screen actually. Normally it's really fast, especially with Vite. But yeah. Okay. So let's reload, and I'm just going to open here. So inspect view service worker. If you want to check something or debug something here in the background, if you put this console log here, you're not going to actually see it in Chrome. You need to open this one here. Where you go? No, this is the previous one. Well, let's open again. So these step tools here is going to show the message. You see here is checking the background. Yes. So let's go here, for example, reload, and click here. So something got wrong because it actually didn't open the pop-up. And if we go to the dev tools, we see that it's nothing here. So something's wrong. Also, you have this to debug. Whenever you have an error inside, you can come here and see it. Like, for example, reactive is not defined. So this one is not defined here, which is pretty useful. Okay, let's see now. I mean, the developer experience is quite limited because you actually need to build it every time. I guess you could put it like a build watch so it does it automatically, but I mean, it's not a big deal. You can work around it. Okay, let's close this one and go back again. We can clear the errors to see if there are no new ones. We reload, and you also need to reload the window you were. So okay, we do have this, but I don't see any current tab data. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what the station here shows. So pop-up init is not oh my god. Wait, I'm going to the shame corner.
Several days later.
Okay, I'm back. Basically, I didn't put this correctly. So let's build it again. You need to put it as a string because it's like a variable. It needs to be defined. So I think I know why it's wrong. Here first, it needs to be asynchronous. And this here needs to be like it's a promise, so you need to wait for it. Also, we're gonna get an error probably because we are trying to assign a value to a const. So let's change this and continue using the reactive one and say your current tab is equal to null. That's fine. And here, instead of modifying this, we're gonna modify state current tab, and we need to pass the current tab into the template. So to do that, I'm just going to use two refs. I'm going to pass the state directly. So this is an utility from Vue 3. Let me just import it before I forget. That is going to convert each one of the properties here into actual refs. Okay, so I can use. Cool, I think it was that. Just to make sure, let's console log here and console log this here. Okay, let's try it out. Finally, come on, yeah. So here we have the info from the current tab, and then you can present it in the way you want for your Chrome station. And that's how you create a Chrome extension using Vite, Vue, and Tailwind. I hope the video was helpful for you, and if it was, please subscribe and drop a like. It means a lot to me. Without further info, I'm just going to relax. Bye!